Cierra from Love Island has just spoken out. She just uploaded a video statement to her Instagram account explaining the reason why she was evicted from the villa and what exactly went down.
I know a lot of people have been waiting for me to speak up about the news that's come to light recently, and now that I've been back in the US for about 48 hours and I've had the chance to process, I now feel like I'm at a space where I can speak about this without being highly emotional because I am not the victim in this situation. While I was in the villa, there were some posts that resurfaced from my past where I was very naively using an incredibly offensive and derogatory term. And before I get into the details, I want to first start by addressing not just anyone that I have hurt or deeply offended, but most importantly, the entire Asian community. I am deeply, truly, honestly so sorry. I had no idea that the word held as much pain, as much harm, and came with the history that it did, or I never would have used it. I had no ill intention when I was using it, but that's absolutely no excuse because intent doesn't excuse ignorance. It just doesn't. And I just need you to know that I am so sorry. But this is not an apology video. This is an accountability video. I do want to hold my hands up and say that I take accountability for using the word, but I do want it to be known that I genuinely had no idea that it was a slur. I had no idea of its meaning, and it wasn't until I made the public story post in 2024 when a follower of mine reached out to correct me and let me know that what I was saying was incredibly hurtful. It was a derogatory term. It was a slur. And in that moment, I was embarrassed. I, of course, immediately deleted the post. I was apologetic and I educated not only myself on the true meaning and the history of the word, but also anyone around me who was accidentally holding space for this slur. When this person did message me, which I'm so grateful that she did, I had a good conversation with her about it. I made the correction immediately. The word was immediately removed from my vocabulary. And I think right now there are tons of things floating around, different screenshots with different timestamps, and fueling this narrative that I sort of doubled down once people tried to correct me and was like, oh, like, I don't know, I'm still going to use it, but that was not the case. Like, the truth is that in that moment, the lesson was learned, the word was removed, and it was a true learning moment for me. And I think since that moment, I've done so much growing as an individual, and I've tried my best to educate others who might be accidentally holding space for these types of words that could be offensive in their vocabulary. I completely agree with the network's decision to remove me from the villa. I think that this is something that deserved punishment, and the punishment has absolutely been received for sure. I think the backlash has obviously been very hard to deal with, but I understand that people are kind of confused on why I would have even said it or why I would have been doubling down and continuing to use it. So I understand where the hate is coming from. And, I can do my best to drown out the noise and pay attention to the truth. But what's been extremely, extremely difficult is the way people are approaching my family and my loved ones. They have had ICE called on them. My family doesn't feel safe in their own home. I'm receiving death threats. There's no need to fight hate with hate. I don't think that that's justice. And if you want to know that you are heard and that I'm sorry and that I will move differently, I promise you that's what will happen. I know that no apology could ever be enough for the harm that I've caused and the offense that's taken place. I know that moving forward, my actions and how I decide to live my life from here on out is going to speak louder than any apology ever could. But I do need it to be known that I am sorry and I did mean no harm, and hopefully there are people out there that can use my mistake as a learning moment, and to just be better, because that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take today and tomorrow and I'm gonna take strides to be better. And all I can ask for is, even if you won't give me forgiveness, if you can just allow me to grow with grace. And hopefully, instead of sitting here and trying to convince you that I am this amazing person who spreads light in the world and celebrates cultures and dynamics and backgrounds, then one day you can see that from me. I'm deeply sorry again, and I thank anyone who's listening.
If you're not familiar with the situation, Cierra, who is a contestant on Love Island, had some past screenshots of herself using a racial slur surface again while she was still inside the villa. This, of course, caused huge waves online once people found out what Cierra had said, and people weren't understanding why Cierra was still on the show. Now, it did take a couple of days, but Cierra was escorted off the show, and all they announced during the airing of that episode was that she was leaving for personal reasons. It was announced Sunday night, July 6th, and that's basically all the information that was given, was that Cierra had left the villa due to personal reasons, and this left her partner on the show, Nick, single. The 25-year-old's departure shocked a lot of people if they hadn't been online and didn't know quite what was going on. However, everyone online had seen her post. There were at least 2 of them that were extremely offensive to Asian people. One of Cierra's friends had been running her social accounts for her. When they're in the villa, they don't have access to a phone, so Cierra had no idea what was happening in the outside world. Cierra's friend made an announcement saying that she was stepping back from running Cierra's account, but she had seen all of the comments and knew exactly what was going on. Cierra's parents have also come out and released a statement. Her parents described the situation as one of the most painful weeks of their lives. Their main concern, obviously, was their daughter, and they were extremely worried that when she got out of the villa, she was going to see all of the hate, the death threats, and the attacks that she was getting online, and they were very worried for her mental health. They said, "We're not here to justify or ignore what surfaced. We understand why people are upset, and we know accountability matters. But what's happening online right now has gone far beyond that. The threats, the cruel messages, the attacks on her family, her friends, even her supporters, it's heartbreaking. It's uncalled for, and no one deserves that kind of hate no matter what mistake they've made." They went on to say that they knew accountability was needed and that Cierra would address this when she got home, but they were simply asking for patience and compassion and a little human decency. They said not just for her, but for everyone involved. Now, there have been a lot of rumors and gossip, of course, swirling online about Cierra's reaction when someone finally told her that this was actually a slur against Asian people and extremely inappropriate. She shared the screenshots of exactly what went down in 2024 after she had shared the post. According to Cierra's screenshot, the person replied to the story where she had used this extremely offensive term and wrote and said, "It seems like you're unaware that this word is an extremely racist and offensive word against Asians. It's unacceptable and incredibly hurtful to be using that word, especially in this context, as if it's a negative thing to have Asian eyes. You've lost a follower. I hope you use this opportunity to grow." And Cierra did post her response, thanking this follower for messaging her and saying, "I am so embarrassed for being so naive and unaware. It's no excuse as the damage is already done. You have every right to be upset for my careless misuse of this word. I do hope you know I had zero ill intentions and I didn't mean to cause any harm. Being a POC and minority myself, I should be a lot more careful with the messages I'm spreading. Thank you for educating me, and I can assure you this word has been removed from my vocabulary, and I'll make an honest effort to make sure no other derogatory words or terms leave my mouth or are shared to my audiences. Thank you again, and I'm so sorry, making a promise to do better." And the person did respond, say thank you, and that they appreciated it. We've unfortunately seen a lot of these situations pop up in the last few years. People don't always handle it the best way. A lot of people come on and try to apologize or make excuses. However, I do appreciate how Cierra came on and took accountability for her actions, explained kind of what exactly had gone down, and then wanted people to know how sorry she is, but that her actions moving forward are going to prove exactly how she feels. Hopefully now that she has shared this and taken accountability for her actions, the hate and bullying and harassment online can stop. I also appreciated the fact that she's hoping people learn from her mistakes. I think that is the most important part when it comes to these situations. A lot of people, due to ignorance or uneducation or other things, just don't understand how hurtful and derogatory these terms can actually be. And it is so important to take note of these situations so that people moving forward can do better.